Welcome to this year's Civil Rights Training for the National School Lunch Program. The purpose of this presentation is to convey the importance of complying with the federal regulations on civil rights. The content came from the federal regulations and instructions developed by the USDA's Food and Nutrition Services. Discrimination is defined as the act of distinguishing one person or group of persons from others, either intentionally by neglect or by the effect of actions or lack of actions based on their protected bases. The protected classes and all of the civil rights and non-discrimination rules are in federal regulations as well as the Food and Nutrition Services instructions. In the National School Lunch, School Breakfast, and After-School Snack programs, there are 6 identified protected classes or prohibited bases. They are race, color, national origin, sex, disability, and age. Compliance with the rules and regulations are a part of the process of learning about these elements in this training. The 6 areas of compliance in civil rights and non-discrimination are: number 1, public notification system. Number 2, data collection. Number 3, areas of training that must be conducted annually. Number 4, types of compliance reviews that may be expected. Number 5, how to recognize and handle civil rights complaints. And number 6, assurances, language and contracts and forms that ensure that you and others will not participate in discrimination and report any complaints. Public notification. It is important to make sure that people who are eligible to participate in the program know how they can participate. To operate, the NSLP, a sponsor, must have a public notification system. The purpose of this system is to inform applicants, participants, and potentially eligible persons of the program availability, program rights and responsibilities, the policy of non-discrimination, and the procedure for filing a complaint. To inform the public of the program availability, make the information available through public communication methods such as news and press releases to multiple outlets. This includes radio, television, social media, and internet. In July, the Food and Nutrition and Wellness Division sends out a statewide public media release for the National School Lunch Program. Next, we will discuss the non-discrimination poster. The And Justice for All poster must be posted in a prominent location at the point of service. The poster is part of the public notification process as it gives both the rights and responsibilities as well as a way to file a complaint to the students. The non-discrimination statement must be on all public printed program material, including, at a minimum, the front page of a district school's website. The complete USDA non-discrimination statement is in accordance with the federal civil rights law and U.S. Department of Agriculture civil rights regulations and policies. The USDA, its agencies, offices, and employees and institutions participating in or administering USDA programs are prohibited from discriminating based on race, color, national origin, sex, disability, age, or reprisal or retaliation for prior civil rights activity in any program or activity conducted or funded by the USDA. Limited English proficiency persons must be a part of the public notification strategy. It is important to take reasonable steps to provide announcements and materials to those possible program participants that are LEP. Failing to provide services to limited English proficiency potentially eligible persons, applicants, and participants, or denying them access to the NSLP may be discriminating on the basis of national origin. The USDA has a broad range of resources to assist with notifying LEP individuals as to the program availability, rights, and responsibilities. The USDA has applications translated into multiple languages, as well as the And Justice for All poster on the Food and Nutrition Services website. Please check USDA's FNS website for additional resources. Sponsor school officials must collect racial and ethnic data on children applying and participating in the free or reduced priced meal programs on an annual basis. Must either be voluntary, self-identified by applicant on the application preferred method but not required, or can be identified through visual or personal knowledge by school official, and information collected must be submitted annually. For the purposes of this collection process, the ethnic and racial data are reported on their own separate sections. This information is reported to our state agency by every sponsor in FANS via the Civil Rights Module. This information is required as part of the annual renewal process. Civil rights training is required for all staff on an annual basis. Training must be documented and kept on file by the sponsor. Topics to be covered in the sponsor's training for staff should include collection and use of data, effective public notification systems, compliant procedures, compliance review techniques, resolutions of noncompliance, requirements for reasonable accommodation of persons with disabilities, requirements for language assistance, conflict resolution, and customer service. Recognizing a civil rights discrimination complaint can be verbal or written, must be discrimination based on one or more of the 6 protected classes, can be made to any staff or volunteer at the sponsor or site, the Florida Department of Agriculture or USDA, must be a specific complaint process and procedure. What information to collect? When there is a complaint to be made, it is important that the person taking the complaint does so consistently. The best way to be consistent is to use our prototype form located in G13 under the Procedures Manual. When collecting the information, be sure to practice good customer service techniques. Most importantly, be sure to write down the following information from the complainant: the complainant's contact information, the nature of the alleged incident, and any additional information that the complainant would like to include. Here you will see the prototype form that we use located in the Procedures Manual under G13. How to handle the complaint. The person has 180 days to file a complaint from alleged incident. When a complaint has been received, you must contact your school site administrator, contact your region food service supervisor. The Department of Food and Nutrition must notify USDA of complaint within 3 days, and complaint investigation and resolution will be determined by the USDA. 3 compliance reviews are conducted. The pre-approved pre-award compliance review. This review is conducted by the state agency. We will review the civil rights compliance questionnaire completed and submitted by the sponsor. Also, during an on-site review, we will check for civil rights compliance. The post-award routine compliance review. This review is also conducted by the state agency. During the administrative review, the state will review the sponsor's civil rights documentation and observe the meal service to ensure civil rights compliance. The special compliance review. This review is conducted by the USDA. These reviews are conducted when a significant civil rights concern has been identified in relation to the NSLP. Special compliance review. A particular group in a specific area is not benefiting from the program. Reports of alleged noncompliance are made by the media, grassroots organizations, or advocacy group. Reports of alleged noncompliance are made by other agencies, such as Department of Education and Department of Health. Patterns of complaints of discrimination have been documented. Assurances. Most importantly, a civil rights assurance is incorporated in all agreements between the state agency and sponsor. This is to ensure all children have access to the programs and benefits. Resources. More information and printable forms may be found at USDA's Civil Rights webpage. The Limited English Proficiency website is also available with assistance and tools for use. Civil rights, customer service, and conflict resolution. Customer service is oftentimes the key to both limiting the number of complaints that you receive, but also effectively handling the complaint once it has been received. As the quote above shows, we can learn a great deal from customers who are unhappy and can help us improve our process, both at providing customer service and improving program performance. Keys to good customer service. Recognize customers have varied needs and few resources. Recognize when the customer feels they have been treated in a rude or discourteous manner. Learn to practice empathy and when necessary, and develop good listening skills. Good listening techniques. Concentrate on what the person is saying by blocking out distractions. Always maintain eye contact. Try to use occasional nodding, and when appropriate, use such phrases as "I understand" or "I see that you are frustrated." Let the person talk as long as necessary. Behaviors to avoid. Avoid these negative behaviors when dealing with customers, particularly customers that you are receiving complaints from. Apathetic behavior or apathy with regards to the subject the customer is expressing. Rushing or brush-off behavior. Coldness or lack of empathy and engagement. Robotism, answering questions plainly without care, as if in a robotic state. Avoid using the rule book, "I can't help you because the rules state." "They won't let me because." Do not refer out to others or delay addressing their concern. Complaints can cause conflict. Oftentimes, the complaints can lead to conflict, and it will be important to know and practice conflict resolution prior to recording and forwarding the complaint. Additionally, complaint resolution oftentimes can't occur at the time of complaint, and so management of additional interactions or service and the conflict that may be generated will be important. Conflict resolution components. There are four key components that must be addressed in conflict resolution. They are: control emotional responses, seek understanding, identify need and common interests, seek mutual benefits or purpose. Constructive conflict resolution. Define the problem, issue, or complaint. Identify the activity causing conflict and assess the details of the information provided. Recognize, respect, and respond to the feelings of those involved in the conflict. Identify points of similarity and differences that are in the conflict. In accordance with federal civil rights law and U.S. Department of Agriculture civil rights regulations and policies, the USDA, its agencies, offices, and employees, and institutions participating in or administering USDA programs are prohibited from discriminating based on race, color, national origin, sex, disability, age, or reprisal or retaliation for prior civil rights activity in any program or activity conducted or funded by USDA. Below you will find phone numbers and email addresses that you can get more information if needed. Thank you, and this concludes the civil rights training for 2019-2020.